My name's Dan, and you're watching Backcountry Builds. So if you're new to this channel, you'll realize that I like red things with engines. I love Hondas. When I was in Alaska, I had a 450R. Started out like this. Ended up looking like this. And I kind of got sidetracked. Got into the sport bike scene. We moved from Alaska to Missouri, continued the sport bike scene, and then my wife said, why don't you not get killed? So I paid up. If you saw episode 1, you know that I bought a CRF450X. So as you can tell, that bike was a ton of fun and it's super clean. Probably the nicest, most unmolested bike I've owned to date. But it was just not super aggressive. I really missed that 450R I had. The torque was, granted I could do some airbox modifications and jetting, but it just wasn't a 450 and I missed that. And as you guys know, I'm no baby. So I went on Marketplace and sold my 250X for the same price I bought it for. A year later, decided to continue my trip as I sold that bike down south and bought this 450X. It's a 2021, as you saw in episode 1. I peeled off a bunch of decals, stripped off some forgotten parts. Clearly she was not very well taken care of. So here's where we left off. Radiators are torched.
Alright, super brisk day here in northern New England. Got the mower running just to get it out of the way. If you saw in the last one, we are resurrecting this beat CRF450X. So I went ahead, pulled the rear tire off. Next thing we're going to do is get these seals out and check these bearings. They are looking ugly. All right, let's do it. The smoothest. I did order a bearing removal puller tool over there. Basically it expands and it uses this janky little setup right there to try and pull these bearings out. Installed this piece backwards and expanded it as much as it would, and then I dropped this piece in. I've already tightened it up to an area where I can feel it just barely catching the lip. Here we're gonna drop this piece in. Let the just set them on the table here. They appear to be pretty square. I mean, they're not bouncing when I put them on either side. Okay. So I was reading on the forums, and everyone, their grandmother was saying, loosen up the bars at the top and the actual bar clamps. And I did that, and I'm happy to say that I don't think I need to replace these bars, or this triple clamp, or the bar clamps. So thank you to those of you who know way more about dirt bikes than I do. Alright, so the filter seems to fit in there really well. I'm satisfied, so we're going to run it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and remove this completely bent radiator from the left side. One more step closer to getting this thing back to perfection. All right, it is February 26th. Guess what we have? Heat. Of course, it's 35 degrees out today, but brand new Modine heater made by Hot Dog. I'm super excited. Gonna have a lot of progress that will be made here shortly on the old Chevelle. But today, we just conducted an oil change. I won't bore you guys with the details, but there's a 10mm Allen bolt on the bottom of this, 2 8mm on the side right here. Pull the oil filter out and get a load of the oil that came out of this poor motorcycle. This has to be factory original. Just looking rough. I had some crap in here before. This wasn't a completely clean M&M's container, but it's looking pretty rough. So no chunks, but definitely not a whole lot of buildup or anything crazy in here. I think there's a little bit of sludge. I don't know what that pink stuff is. That. But yeah, not horrible, but pretty bad. All right, it's March 13th. Got the DID Dirt Stars back. Fresh meats mounted up. These are Tusk D-Sports. Took them outside and got a bunch of Fantastic on them and getting them prepped to put the new bearings in. But the wheels are all clean. They're not in perfect shape by any means. But I'm really excited to get some tires on this machine. Today we're gonna get started by cleaning the axle components off for the rear axle. Already got started on the axle itself, but let's try and transform all these disgusting parts.
I wish you all the best I can, and I stop myself for a while. I'm saying things I don't believe. The panic's rising up in you. Won't you tell me something new? Don't you think you wanna be for the best? If I pack my stuff, I'll you sooner than this. Don't you think you wanna be for the best? If I pack my stuff, I'll you sooner than this. Don't you wish I would've been someone else? I wanna feel your gap without making a mess at you. Won't you tell me something new? I wanna tell you something new. You drive my stuff and leave me to the wall.
What do you think?
Shiny.
A little bit better. All right, we're back working on the bike. Garage is a little bit of a mess. Had to run out for a trip down south, but we've got ourselves a new, to me, replacement, genuine Chinese radiator. So what we're looking at here is a $100-ish radiator off of eBay. Straight off the boat. It's not exactly the same, so we're gonna fight through this together. So first thing, pulled out of the package, everything's oriented the right way. Great. We've got these rubber grommets here and here. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. I went ahead and removed the metal washers and put them in the new radiator already. We're gonna go ahead and pop these. That requires 2 hands. Plastic covers off before we get too far. There's no radiator fill cap. This is my first time replacing a motorcycle radiator. I don't know if I should be filling this with antifreeze before, maybe I can put it upside down and then fill it kind of on a slant and orient it there before all the antifreeze runs out. Or do I cycle it and then fill from the fill side? I don't know, but we're going to find out together. There's also a rubber bumper here, which I peeled off and super glued on in the same orientation on this side. If we flip over to the back side, before we do that, obviously this one's substantially tweaked, but we've got brackets in the same approximate area. Looks like they're slotted, if you will, because it's not exactly the same. Hopefully the brackets, the locations in which this is supposed to fasten, haven't moved. Otherwise, we might be tweaking these with some wrenches. But I'm going to flip this on its side like this. Maybe not. We've got 1, 2, 1, 2. I went ahead and removed this. I can't remember which orientation it goes, whether this threaded portion should be on the inside or the outside, so that's on there loosely till we get it over there. A lot of this is bent, so I have a feeling I'm going to be bending these little brackets either inward or outward, but we seem to have the same correct number of pieces on there, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this thing in and take you guys with me. Let the oil settle to its proper height for inspection, and then we will take it for a quick ride. It's a little chilly outside, but I gotta move some stuff out of the way. All right, we're taking a brief intermission from working on the trailer over there to make some money for the Chevelle over there to fill up some antifreeze. Let's get this open. So I'm sure I could have just gone to the hardware store and picked up any old regular Colin 50/50 blend, or even 100% in the blue color, but I wanted to do this right, so I'm gonna pop this open. It's got the radiator cap open here, and let's top this off. And I believe there's also another piece, the reservoir, that we'll have to top off as well from when we removed the old cracked radiator. We lost some coolant. FedEx guy literally just pulled in with a chain case saver. So we're gonna throw that on and go for a ride. All right, let's get this thing out in the sunlight.
So the majority of this video from here on out is a lot of GoPro video. So if you're not into that, feel free to skip ahead to the end. There's some goodies at the end, to say the least. So this is early spring 2025, kind of marks the end of the transformation process, if you will. Obviously this bike's still far from perfect, but I like to think that it's way nicer than when we got it. Just the little things kind of added up. So as you can see here, changing the oil. I very quickly fell in love with this bike. I love the 450 aspect, but it still wasn't everything I ever hoped and dreamt of. I don't know if it was the weight of the bike. Obviously, I've got some weight of myself that I can lose and might make up some difference there. But long story short, I wasn't sold. So I did a little bit more riding early spring, and then ultimately ended up deciding to put the bike up for sale. So the bike booked at like $7,500, but it was far from perfect. So I posted it up for somewhere near that, which was way too much, and ended up bringing it down to about 65 and ended up selling the bike for $6,000. So I did pay $4,500 for this bike, which I learned so many lessons. This thing was definitely not worth that. I did ascertain a title for it. So it is indeed plated. While I was riding, I managed to snap the chain. It was an older chain, I'm sure you can tell when we took it off, and it broke the gear position sensor, kicked the check engine light on. Ended up spending a couple $100 to get it all fixed, and had to go to the dealership to have them fix the check engine light. So here's some pictures I used to post the bike up for sale, and I think it cleaned up pretty good. But leave it in the comments. What do you guys think? I can certainly tell you what Sarah thinks.
What do you think?
Seller.
So $6,000, sold it right down the road, and here's a video of the previous owner.
Take off on that thing. I don't. What gear are you ripping down this in?
Third.
Same.
But I also got 3 more gears.
How often do you use your 6th gear?
Not very.
Yeah.
If ever. The only time I'm like maybe on the street.
Yeah. I don't like the feel of the gravel.
I know, dude. It feels like you have flat tires.
Or you're just gonna slide.
Right? I need a front tire bad.
I've been hitting all the little jumps though.
Yeah, they're fun, right?
Yeah.
So what you just saw was actually GoPro footage from the previous owner. He's riding that bike, and included in the deal was a whole bunch of his gear. So I hope you enjoyed that. So as you can see, I got bigger projects that I'm trying to fund. Recently had an occupation change, and if you don't follow the channel, I hope you consider to subscribe. I'm currently working on a 1968 Chevelle. It's an SS396 Super Sport car. Somebody ripped the big block out and the 4-speed out, so I got it with a small block and a turbo 350 running and driving, but we're putting a 6-liter LS in it. Ended up towing it across the country. There's a whole bunch of videos on this. Recently pulled the body off the frame, got sandblasted, powder coated, and then put it all back together just to bring it to another state on the other side of the country. So that's where we are now. Stay tuned, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.